Hello everyone, and today's just going to be a little bit of a discussion video over a few topics. Things I didn't really plan on sharing in the past, but now it seems like it might be a good idea to, with past events, things like that. So pretty much, I want to explain to people two things. One thing I'm going to talk about the new project and such that I've been working on, which is good, you know. But also, I thought I need to kind of talk about something more meaningful, I guess. And that really is the creation of Bathog Productions. Think of it as I draw my life. Without the drawing, I could do that, but it'd take way too much time. And this video needs to get out as quick as it can, I think. So, pretty much about 2 summers ago, I think. Yeah. 2 summers ago, I had an idea, and that was to make a YouTube channel where I could show off things that I am good at personally, rather that be playing video games, making comics and writing them, or just drawing in general. I have always wanted to do things like that. It's always kind of been my passion. It's to draw, things like that. And listen, I've had a lot of trouble in the past with things like bullying, because just I like Sonic the Hedgehog. One of the most stupid things ever. It still goes on to this day. Most people watching this probably are one of them. Because I tried to get popular by spreading around the YouTube name. But, getting beside the point, I created something that I really wanted to do for years and years and years. I've done videos in the past just for video creation's sake, you know. I did a little bit of a show. I was wanting to help my cousins with it, because like one of them was like struggling in school or something, and I had a bunch of Sonic action figures and such, so I thought, hey, why not use these and kind of put it into a better manner, you know. So it's supposed to be kind of an educational video. It turned out horribly. Remember, I was probably like in the 3rd grade. And trust me, I mean, like, for our first time doing the video or something like that, it was amazing. Blew my freaking mind. But, you know, of course, not all things work out that well. I played the Sonic games for a lot of my life, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon. I don't plan to stop making comics or trying to get some kind of deal or something like that. Because it is my dream to one day work with companies that I've looked up to my whole life, like Sega and Nintendo, 2 of the best video game companies I can think of. with their, they don't do as much marketing strategies as other companies do. And they do, of course, but you know, it's always been about the games. It's always been about the player. And I've always wanted to create an experience like that. I have an ambition to create stories with characters. Listen, these characters on my show right here, met by an incredible man who he sadly lost earlier. It was either earlier last year, or it was late last year, or early this year. I forgot. Stanley, big inspiration. He's made multiple different series of characters, and I myself has doodled around and worked with characters I've made. Not just the creepy Sonic OCs that you see on the internet. I have made my fair share of those, though. Like Scratch the Metal, a character that I haven't talked about in years. Pretty much it was this guy, he had like big claws and things like that. It was pretty cool, actually. But it's pretty much, you know, I had like a whole different storyline stuff for it. But pretty much this goes back even before 2 summers ago when I first created the channel. I want to make a game / movie / comic series based around Sonic the Hedgehog. Now that seems stupid to work on something like that. I mean, kind of. But I worked on that for about a year, probably. I was in the 4th grade, mind you, but I already had like a second sense, pretty much, of like, this is how the business works. This is how you do things. You know, you obviously have to, there's multiple things that you have to do to make a game, a comic series, or anything. I've learned that the hard way. Before 2 years ago, I didn't know how to make a comic book. I knew how to draw, and that's it. I didn't know anything about stories, really, or making likable characters. I just used characters that was already made. You know, I used, what's to say, half the Sonic franchise's characters, making my own, having them interact, which is something that clearly is amazing. That's one good thing about being a creative person, is that you can make some things that you would never believe. I've made some things, like, this is my first real original comic right here, No Ordinary Hero. And to be honest with you, I'm proud of it. I've tried to get people on board and try to help me. That doesn't work as well as you'd think it would, though. But in the next 3 years, I want to at least have a playable demo out and hopefully get some kind of, I don't know, some kind of way to get it out. Because listen, I've tried working with a group of people that I know that know something about what I'm trying to do. I've had many friends that I've asked, would you want to help work on this project with me? That could possibly something that kind of backed me away from that situation. I'm not someone who enjoys sports. Really, I wouldn't knock anyone for trying, just as long as you don't get up in my face about it. Don't force stuff down my throat, really. But I respected it. But no one's respected what I like to do. So pretty much, whatever you do, if it's creative, if it's sports or anything like that, give credit to the person that they're doing. I mean, I've done some things likewise that I don't like that I've done. I mean, mostly I've grown a hatred from sports just because how people treated me. If I play the games, maybe I'd like them. But I'm kind of scared to, honestly. Because video games is my thing. That's a bad thing about going to a school that's, well, if you really don't like sports, why are you here? Get out. I think I've been told that multiple times. Yeah. Even by a teacher. I don't mean this to be a sob story or anything like that. I mean this to be somewhat inspirational. Maybe to back off some of the haters too. But let's just say, people always ask me, like, oh, do you have a job? And stuff like that. I say, yes. I've got the best job in the world. Reviewing games and stuff like that. I may not get paid hardly anything for it. I get paid some occasionally. That's mostly for my comic series, though, and artistic abilities. But one thing that has always stayed the same is that I want to stay true to the name of this channel. Bathog Games and Comics. Two things that I hold very near and dear to my heart is video games and comic books. Whether they be the Sonics or the Marvel. I read Marvel occasionally. DC too. Just people haven't seen a side of me that I do often. The kind of entrepreneur, the kind of businessman, hopefully I could say. I wouldn't say crafty, but I know how to weasel people out and stuff. I've done it before. That's sometimes how I work my way into getting things. I've worked, if we're going to say this, I've pretty much worked with video games my whole life. And I've heard the phrase for the longest time, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I've never really worked a day in my life. Because, listen, I can go through and play, well, today I was playing Naruto, which I plan to do a review on and stuff like that. And then my Switch finally came back in the mail. It was broken. And I played My Hero 1's Justice. Played quite a few, actually. And really, it kind of reminded me how much I love these games. And how much I love what I do. I'm not necessarily good at video games. I'm not necessarily good at drawing either. Or creating a likable story. But I know how to. I know how to, definitely. And usually this is kind of a rambling-like video. Like, hey guys, I'm Boogie2988. But I'm fairly certain that this is probably the best time that I've ever just sat here and talked and not been like, Yeah, I know I've done that some, but still. Listen right there. I'm going to play games until I die. That's what I tell everyone. I'm going to keep a Sega Genesis hooked up in my house for as long as I live to play these type of games. To live through all these adventures and create some of my own. I started taking a class earlier this year, or it was actually earlier last year, to kind of show my creative side, especially in the video game world. To show that I can make likable characters, a good story, and overall just be creative. I'd taken an art class to help with my comic writing, or not writing, but drawing skills. I can't say exactly that it's helped that much, but I've seen, like, just in general, my artistic abilities has grown, which is always a good thing. I know people are going to make fun of me until the day I die, until I can move somewhere where it's more seen as good. Mostly it's like when I get out of college or something of the sort, I am most definitely going to move out and find some place where I can find people like me. Because where I live right now, there's no one like me. People that say, like, oh, you do YouTube or something like that, they rather say one of three things. You're a nerd, which I say, thank you. That's now a compliment. They rather just don't talk to me in general. Or three, they scoff and rather make fun of me or ridicule everything that I do. Even some of them that also do YouTube. Just because I don't have the right material and things like that to create. Is there ever a wrong way to create? I thought that's kind of the idea of creativity and being able to do what you want. That's the idea of just creativity in general. Having the freedom to create and do what you want. Making a universe where anything can happen. You want Donald Trump to blow up the moon while with a big mustache and say, oh no, I'm Dr. Eggman. You can do that. Who's stopping you? You might seriously pee off some people, but, you know, it happens. Who cares? I've done that to multiple people. I've kind of made a promise to myself to be a nicer person, because this year I've seen some cracks go through that, believe it or not, I have not seen them myself much in. And I gotta do what I love. Because what else am I going to do? Sit here, die, pass around a football? Well, I mean, once again, I think it's stupid. But, you know what? If it's you, do it. But now I plan to make a video game called No Ordinary Hero, heroes versus villains. To some, this will be familiar because I have people working with me now on this. And the comic series, of course, will hopefully boost some of the sales for that, I guess.